So for a team that was put together from scratch at the beginning of the year, what does it say that you guys went as far as you did?
I think that the one thing that really says about the group is that the group had a lot of pride and a lot of character. And I think that we did try to bring in guys that had that character, but at the same time, it's up to them to then put it into effect. And so quite proud of them for that.
Character is one of those things that everyone talks about, and sometimes it's more deserving than others. What was it about this group that they were able to, that it feels like a real thing to talk about rather than a cliche?
I think that they sort of just approached their jobs with like a professionalism and had a lot of respect for the logo that they were playing for and for each other. So it's not like it was some crazy intangible that we just got all these players that had that. It was more that they were good people and they just worked. Didn't matter. A lot of these guys, it doesn't matter who you put them with, they're just going to work well and just going to find ways to get it done. So together they just found, I think a lot of times they found ways to get it done.
What do you think it was about on ice, about the way you guys played that got you so far?
I think that the guys did a good job of being accountable for each other defensively. I think that is a big part of it, is that they worked together on, away from the puck and making sure that we were tough to play against. And that allowed us to then let our skill shine in different ways through guys with lots of skill like Kirkpatricks and Hurds and Lombergs and Wolfson go down the line there. I think that the first foundation of that was those guys all played defense too.
I don't think I've seen a team quite this close before. Do you have any sense of what it was that created that kind of chemistry on this team?
I think that, again, it goes back to guys having respect for each other. I think that's the thing, is that it starts like that, and then from there, as they go through more together, then they tend to want to do more for each other, but they respected each other, and they did a good job with being able to get through tough times.
Do you feel like you achieved what you wanted to achieve on the year?
Yes, I really do. I really do. I feel like it's hard to have expectations coming into such a new environment, and I think that we're all pretty proud of the overall feel of the year, the accomplishment, making the playoffs, being in the second round, coming down to Game 7 double overtime. I don't feel real good about it right now that we didn't win, but at the same time I'm very proud of what the team accomplished.
After that game, the way everyone reacted, you would have thought that the team was disbanding right that moment and everyone was leaving. Was that kind of just an indication of what you were saying about the character and the chemistry and all of that?
I think so. I think that the guys were, really, they valued each other, and I think that sometimes, the way the sport is and the nature of fast-moving sort of society, things happen quickly. So sometimes that moment together is sort of your last moment to be together, and I think that our group, because they did have a lot of they were just so closely knit, I think that they wanted to just hang on to that for a little while, and it wasn't, there were very few things that got between our players this year. They just played for each other, they played hard. Sometimes it went well, sometimes it didn't, but they stuck together. So when it was all said and done, they really, I wanted to just keep sticking together for a little bit.
Personally, what do you take away from this season?
I take away the fact that we came in as a group and we wanted to get a really good start for this organization. And I thank the players for it, and I personally, I just think that we did. And I, as a coach, had my best year of coaching because I enjoyed working with this group so much, and I think that I've learned some things coaching that helped me enjoy it more and learn to, like, you talk about, every coach will, in many interviews, will talk about, you know, having, concentrating on the process. And I think that I was able to actually do it more this year and concentrate more on the players and get less caught up in the end result, and then that sort of, it found ways to just work itself out.
What do you think it was that allowed you to achieve that?
I think that I did a better job of coaching individuals, and I think that's what it comes down to is players. You know, today's players they're different than they were, when it was myself 20 years ago, and they need to understand a little bit more about why things are going on, and they also need to understand how they fit into the big picture. And I think that I was able to connect a little bit more there, and that not only did it work out well on the success side for us, but it was much more enjoyable, and that's something that I credit people that I've worked with and learned from in coaching to helping me learn that, because it certainly makes the profession really fun, and I think what it should be all about.
Last one. I know this is a hard question, but do you have a moment that stands out this year as being your best top moment of the year?
I would right away. I go to Game 5, winning in overtime, but that's probably the whole concept of recency. I think that was pretty fun. It was a huge game, and the excitement and the whole aspect of being in such a tough series and being at home and feeling a lot of pride for our guys and what they were accomplishing at that moment. I feel that was the top of the charts.